Hello, and welcome to my presentation on the effects of the transition from a hunter-gathering lifestyle to farming and its effect on human health, especially through the lens of diet. Just a quick outline of the presentation. I'll be starting to talk about the shift from hunter-gathering to farming. Then I will be talking about nutritional stress, interpersonal violence, my personal opinion, and then finally the conclusion. The transition from hunter-gathering, or its lifestyle, to farming had a significant impact on human health. The shift from a varied diet of wild game, fish, fruits, and vegetables to a diet heavily reliant on domesticated crops and animals had a huge impact on our physical health, especially in dental, skeletal, and overall human health. One of the primary reasons for this shift was the fact that early farmers obtained most of their food from one or a few starchy crops, such as wheat, rice, or corn. While these crops provided cheap calories, they were deficient in certain vitamins or amino acids essential to life. As a result, farmers gained weight but suffered from poor nutrition, leading to a nearly 50% increase in enamel defects, indicated an indication of malnutrition, a fourfold increase in iron deficiency anemia, and a threefold rise in bone lesions, reflecting infectious disease in general. This is especially true for women, who were more likely to suffer from osteoporosis. The reliance on a smaller number of crops and animals also led to a decrease in the variety of nutrients that people consumed, which in turn led to an increase in malnutrition and other related health problems. Because of the dependency on a limited number of crops, farmers also ran the risk of starvation if one crop failed. This led to nutritional stress and infectious disease, which seriously affected their ability to survive. Studies by George Armalagos and his colleagues at the University of Massachusetts show that compared to hunter-gatherers who preceded them, the hunter the, the farmers had an increase in degenerative conditions of the spine, probably reflecting a lot of hard physical labor. The development of agriculture also encouraged people to clump together in crowded societies, many of which then carried on trade with other crowded societies, leading to the spread of parasites and infectious diseases. This led to a threefold rise in bone lesions, reflecting infectious disease in general. The shift from a hunter-gatherer lifestyle to a farming society also had a significant effect on dental health. Hunter-gatherers had a varied diet that included tough, fibrous foods that required a lot of chewing, which helped to keep their teeth clean and healthy. In contrast, farmers relied on softer and starchier foods that were easier to eat but led to a higher incidence of dental caries and other dental issues. We can see this change of jaw size when we look at the picture on the lower right of the slide, yeah, with the human or farmer on the right and the hunter-gatherer on the left. The reduction in jaw size and increase in dental problems in modern times compared to prehistoric times can be attributed to several factors. One of the main reasons is the change in diet. Our ancestors had a diet that was rich in tough, fibrous foods, as mentioned earlier, which required a lot of chewing. This helped maintain the size and strength of the jaws and teeth. In contrast, modern diet often consists of softer and more processed foods, which require less chewing, as I have mentioned a little bit previously. So I won't talk about this too much. But this led to jaw size reduction and an increase in dental problems. In short, we can also see on this picture in the top right that our prehistoric ancestors had higher bone density than us, which might be surprising, but actually true. With uh, the hunter-gatherer being the one on the right and the modern or the farmer being one on the left. One of the reasons for this decrease in bone density is the change in diet. Our ancestors had a diet rich in calcium and other minerals, which was necessary to build strong bones. However, modern diets often lack adequate amounts of these essential nutrients, leading to weaker bones. Additionally, the widespread consumption of processed foods also contributed to the decrease in bone density, as these foods can often be low in calcium and other nutrients that are essential for bone health. Increased interpersonal violence. A study in the European Journal of Archaeology shows that in many regions throughout Europe, farming is associated with elevated incidence of stress and caries, while hunting and gathering lifeways are usually associated with low levels of stressors. There are also evidence in the same study in the European Journal of Archaeology in a burial site in Ukraine for interpersonal violence on skeletal remains. This is consisting of unhealed depression fractures on at least 12 of the 21 individuals analyzed. In a study, 4 skulls were shown to exhibit 2 or more fractures, while 4 skulls were also shown to have evidence of healing. This suggests that the transition to agriculture may have led to an increase in interpersonal violence. One of the arguments for increased violence is that with the advent of agriculture, people began to accumulate more resources, leading to competition and conflict over resources such as land, food, and water. Additionally, the settling of permanent settlements with large populations led to a social stratification, the rise of leaders and hierarchies, and the development of the warrior class. My opinion. The shift from hunter-gathering to farming was a major turning point in human history that had both been negative and positive impacts on human health. On one hand, farming provided a more stable source of food and allowed for the growth of civilization and population expansion. However, it also resulted in a decrease in the variety of nutrients in the diet and an increase in certain health problems, such as dental caries, osteoporosis, malnutrition, and a lot of other things and diseases. The shift also led to an increase in interpersonal violence and hard physical labor, which took a toll on skeletal health of early farmers. In my opinion, the transition from hunter-gathering to farming was a double-edged sword. On one hand, it allowed for the growth and expansion of civilizations, but on the other hand, it had negative effects on human health. Overall, I believe that the transition from hunter-gathering to farming was a necessary step in human evolution. But it's important to learn from the negative consequences of this shift and strive to improve our diets and healthcare systems to promote better health outcomes for all people. In conclusion, the transition from hunter-gathering to farming societies had a large impact on human health. The shift from a varied diet of wild game, fish, fruits, and vegetables to a diet reliant on domesticated crops and animals led to a huge change in dental, skeletal, and overall health. The shift to a grain-heavy diet resulted in an increase in dental caries, osteoporosis, and malnutrition, as well as other things. The evidence also just suggests that transition to agriculture may have led to an increase in interpersonal violence as well. Thus, one could safely argue that the transition from hunter-gathering to farming might have been one of the worst mistakes in the history of the human race. Here's my sources, and yeah, that's it. Thank you so much.